Hi, everybody. Sandy Kreisberg here. It's Fridays with Sandy. We're going to do it a little different this Friday. We've got a wonderful applicant. His name is Mr. Applicant. And Mr. Applicant, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hello, I'm Mr. Applicant. So hope
Good.
you are
And
doing well.
Since this is interview season at a lot of schools, what we're going to do with Mr. Applicant is give him a mock interview. That's what he prefers, okay? So this will be like a mock interview. Very often, so let's start. Could you tell us what impact COVID is having on your company and your job?
Okay, so I work at a delivery company, much like DoorDash United States in Rappi, which is Latam's biggest delivery app. So the impact's kind of crazy. When COVID started, I actually saw deliveries increase 40% in a 2-week period. So we had lots and lots and lots of operational problems.
What kind of stuff do you deliver? You like DoorDash food and groceries?
Food, groceries, liquors. We have a certain products.
Okay, so Mr. Applicant is he works for Rappi, which is Latin America's. You say it's a super app?
Yeah, it's actually a super app. Our mission is like to be one-stop shop for all services and people's cell phones. So we mostly do deliveries right now, but we're going into financial services.
Try and look into the camera.
Okay.
Good, because it looks like you're kind of going like that. Okay. So let's start. Let's take it from the top. Hello, Mr. Applicant. Could you tell us where you work?
Okay, I work at Rappi. It's actually Latin America's super app. We're mostly focused on deliveries, food, groceries, but we also do some financial services as well.
Boy, what are companies like that? I don't really visualize that.
I mean, the idea is just you have everything you need in the palm of your hand. I mean, I need.
Yeah, I understand. Could you tell me who your competitors are? I'm trying to get a feeling for the company.
Okay, our biggest competitor I would say in the delivery space would be like iFood in Brazil or Pedidos Ya in other Latin American countries. If you try to make a parallel outside, I would say it's DoorDash.
Okay, good. So it's like a DoorDash company. You're in Latin America. Here's a question they frequently ask a guy like you. What do you want your classmates to know about Brazil?
Okay, I would say that Brazil is like the world's beta tester. I mean, a lot of stuff you try to put and make it work in Brazil for a startup. I think it has two times as likely to go wrong, either because have more fraudsters or because our legislation is more complex. So anything you can implement in here, it's usually very easy to scale to other countries.
That's a little odd take on the country.
Yeah.
What you want to do is start macro. Well, I hope they know that Brazil is in Latin America. It's the largest country in Latin America. They speak Portuguese, and the economy is. Let's take it like that.
Okay, let's do. Okay, so I would say that Brazil is the largest country in Latin America. We actually speak Portuguese, and we have been some ups and downs in our economy over the past few years, but we are also a quite innovative country. Some of the most important fintechs in the world are starting here right now, and I think that just like a wonderful country if you want to start a business on. especially if you want to tap.
Okay, I'm going to give that answer like a B minus. You really
Okay.
have to be able to bang it out, and it's a question that is frequently asked.
Okay.
What do you want your classmates to know about Brazil? I'm going to give the answer here. It might be inaccurate, but the answer should be like, I want them to know that Brazil is the largest country in Latin America. They speak Portuguese. The political system is blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
The economy is run along these lines. Some of the largest companies in Brazil are blah, blah, blah. If you're interested in starting a company in Brazil, you probably need a local partner. And yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of regulation that crosses over into corruption. So starting a company is very difficult. Okay.
All right.
I don't know if what I said is accurate, but that's the answer that they
Actually, it is. Okay. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so then this question, everybody at home, you should be able to answer this. What's been the impact of COVID on your company and on Brazil?
Okay, so in my company, so, I would say it was like impressive because we have this service which everybody started using during COVID, which everybody started ordering more. Everybody started
what was the service?
Delivery service. So in a couple of weeks, we have seen our numbers increase by 40%, and that.
You having trouble getting people to deliver stuff? That's a problem in the United States.
Yes, in these first days, we had lots and lots of operational issues because of the increase in the volume. So we did not have enough capacity to handle it. Handle this was very painful. So that's something which I actually had to implement some emergency solutions in my company at the time.
You? If I got this right, you've been with this company, Rappi, which is the Latin America's super app. Is it publicly listed?
No, not yet.
Can you give me some numbers as to the size of the company? What sales are, or? Okay.
It's around 3,000 people working out there right now. We have sales. The last time I saw it, checked on it, we had like a GMV close to $10 billion month over month.
Good. In your next life, put that on your resume, okay, as a way of describing the company.
Okay.
What you've written here is, we just need more. There's a way to describe a company, 3,000 employees in this business, in that business, annual sales or blah, blah, blah. You should put that in your resume, because particularly since North American readers may not know the company, and they're going to go, is this a 7-Eleven or is this an international company? Particularly since it's not publicly listed, that becomes very important. Okay, what do you do?
Okay, so I deliver data products to operations team. So basically, I do three things. First, I give the tools for teams to make informed decisions. That's one part of what I do. The second one is automations. So I get data from stuff happening in real time and then set up alarms or actions in the system, which
you're getting one step too far into it. We want a higher description. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
as a gateway to what you do. Okay, you say you're the global operations analytics senior manager. What does that mean?
Yeah, it means that every time someone needs to consistently make decisions or automate something, they call me and they scope a project to help that person problem.
Give me an example of that. Okay, while you're thinking of that, let me give a little lecture here. Folks, if you're watching this at home, you've got to be able to describe your company and what you do. Okay, like this guy, Mr. Applicant, is, I think he didn't do a real good job of that. Okay, you could get in trouble at a lot of schools with the way you did it. You just don't. It doesn't sound like you've got a handle on it, and it's hard. It's a question that trips up a lot of people. So prepare that, everybody. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to give you another chance, Mr. Applicant. What do you do?
Okay. So what I do is I create analytical tools for operational teams make decisions and solve and improve the quality of service. So one example I can give you is, okay, for every time someone cancels an order, I have developed
yeah, well, give me an example of that. Give me a real example of that. What's the last thing? Just give me a real good example.
Okay, a real good example is, okay, we have tens of thousands of tickets being opened every day for users with some sort of problem. So I have developed solutions which try to translate those tickets into actionable problems. So, okay, so we had 10,000 tickets, 2,000 were related to delayed orders, other 3,000 were related to that the courier was not at the store on time, other 3,000 were related to payment issues, and so on and so forth. So then teams can act in this information and reduce the number of those tickets. So they can catch.
I still don't get it.
Okay.
Don't get frustrated. This is important.
Yeah. I know.
I'm the guy. First of all, I'm the guy in charge of headaches. We're a big company. We're on the internet. We get a lot of complaints. One of my jobs is to organize those complaints by topic and then help solve them.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do. I do the part of organizing by topic.
Yeah. And then, well, give me an example of a common problem and what your solution was.
Okay, so a common problem was we had this really big fast food chain delivering in my city, actually, São Paulo, and we are having very big operational issues with them because they just couldn't give the orders to deliveries on time, to the couriers on time. So couriers would be waiting on a door of the store for 20, 30, 40 minutes before picking up the order. So one thing
so the problem was that the supplier couldn't package the stuff to get it into the hands of the courier.
Actually, here I'm talking about a restaurant in this case.
Good.
So,
say that. One of our clients is a big restaurant that they do a lot of takeout.
Yeah, they do a lot of takeout, and they had tens and tens of stores all over São Paulo. So what I actually did was use statistics to understand which is the best store in the best place to make each delivery. So I kind of what I did was those stores which were best performers, I would just increase their delivery range and shift and make an algorithm which would shift the numbers of orders sent to those stores.
That gives me an idea of what you do. Let me ask a question about what you just said. Wasn't your solution to just give more work to the good performers? Yeah. I mean, that's a common solution, but that's not what they teach at business school. I think haven't gone to business school, but my guess is that's not the way they solve problems in business school. If you know what I mean. Like you don't double down on your best performers and let the slackers go or whatever.
I mean, what it actually created a feedback system because if a store knows it's going to receive more orders, if it works well, it's going to focus more on the takeout part. At that time, there was a those stores were actually more worried about the saloons or the drive-through orders rather than the takeout part. So by
Okay, you
doing
got to
that,
get that story straight. Another interesting, you understand what I'm saying? You haven't
yeah,
got that down yet. I'm not
okay,
going to break your chops. Just, you got to be better than that. If
okay,
you can't explain what you're doing, and if you can't explain what your best accomplishment was, you could be in real trouble.
right.
I noticed that you started a company. Could you tell us about that?
Okay, I opened a fintech focused on credit for small businesses. So what we would do is we would partner with large suppliers. So let's imagine like a beer company, and we would leverage the relationship of this beer company with bars and restaurants to give those small bars and restaurants loans so they can buy more, actually more beers from this beer company. So that would be pretty much the idea.
Well, what did they need you for?
Okay, so the beer company is not a bank. So
Yeah,
actually,
the idea sounds odd to me, but
okay, let's give you a little bit
what
more
I heard
context.
was that for instance, what we would do is we take beer companies, we turn them into banks. They would make profitable loans to their customers so the customers could thrive. And then they were running a bank business and a beer business. Have I got that right?
Yeah, but many times this beer company doesn't want to be a bank, or they don't have
I could
the
understand that. That's why I don't understand your job. Why would
okay,
they want to
so
be a bank? And what did you do?
okay, so going back a little bit in the problem, our small businesses have a real hard time getting loans in our financial environment in Brazil. And actually, the biggest small company creditors are their suppliers because they sell products with long payment terms. So for those companies.
I'm
So
with you.
what we would do, we would take the burden of those big companies in selling on large terms on 60, 90 days. So we would say to them, hey, let me take the risk of your clients for you so you can focus on selling and you don't need anymore to look at the credit score of your clients to sell to them. Let me do it. I actually can do it better than you.
Were you
Give
doing
more
the
money.
diligence on the clients, or were you loaning
Yeah,
money yourself?
both. So we would take the risk, we would make the diligences, and then the idea is, okay, beer company, you have lots of data from past transactions with your customer base. I'm gonna actually use that to make the diligence. So that's pretty much the idea.
So what was your secret sauce? Your ability to gather their data, or your experience in creditworthiness of small businesses, or?
Actually, my secret sauce or the value I added to I used to add to the company was that I would know how to use data to make this due diligence very well. I would know, okay, I need this kind of data in this kind of moment, and that's the important piece. We need to understand if that bar is going to be able to
Okay,
pay
that
us
sounds like a
years.
real undertaking to start a business. It's complicated. It's data driven.
Yeah.
Who were your co-founders? You can.
Okay. Yes, I can give you. One of them was coming back from his MBA from Berkeley. The idea is actually his. So he's the guy who did the diligence and structured the business model. And my other co-founder was working with a similar service, but inside a bank, a big bank in Brazil.
Well, I could understand why you want those two people. Why did they want you?
They wanted me because I was really good handling data. and I had a lot of energy, and I really knew how to make the right questions at the right time. So that's what I actually picked up from consulting, learning how to do the right
Okay, yeah,
questions
well,
at the right time
let's
to
tell
answer
the folks at
questions.
home that wasn't that the first thing you did after college was you were a consultant at Bain, right?
Yes, yes. First thing, actually, I did some internships during college as well. So, but yeah, I
Good.
started my
Okay,
career as a
so
consultant.
yeah, you worked at a bank during college too. So that's why you were useful to this company you founded. Why did you go to Bain?
Okay, so I'm going to start with actually my bank job. I was working in project finance at Santander, and everything started with this big project. We are hired to help to develop a business plan, and McKinsey was hired together with us, and I really enjoyed what they were doing more than what I was doing, which was, okay, let's define the capital structure for this
Yeah,
project.
let me give you some advice that I
Yeah.
give every week and nobody ever is able to internalize. Answer the question immediately.
Okay.
Okay. Don't go to some backstory where I
All
was
right.
doing this and then I was doing that. And part of doing that, I met a guy from McKinsey. Okay. The question was, why'd you join Bain? Go. I had an internship where I worked with McKinsey and I really liked consulting. So I wanted to
Okay.
look for a consulting job. Do you get the difference?
Yes.
Good. What was Bain like? Bain has a reputation in America as being a buttoned down, tight ship, putting it nicely. What's its reputation? What did you find? How would you describe the culture?
I mean, I really didn't understand your expression, but what I'm gonna say, uh, oh, the nice way to say is, I mean, they were not only in my work life, they were in my personal life as well. So I would hang out with lots of my fellow associate consultants, and they would be in my most inner circles of friends as well. Actually, I also worked.
Okay, in America, the reputation of Bain's culture, this is a reputation, I don't know if this is true.
Okay.
Very strict, hardworking, play things by the book. And what you're saying is it was a little different. What I found about Bain was great. It was open. It was friendly. It was here's a way. This is critical in describing company cultures. Was it flat or hierarchical?
It was flat. I mean, I had
okay. I find that surprising, but I don't care. You're not being graded on
okay.
surprisingly. You're being graded on what it was a flat culture. What did that mean?
It means that I was really close to my managers and vice versa. So I really talked a little bit with a few partners. I had a greater relationship with a few managers with which worked with me. Actually, some of them are actually helping me through this process to get an MBA. They're also my mentors right now. So
good. So yeah, I liked it. It was friendly. It was open. It was you could have mentors. You had no trouble in talking to people. Like I could talk to the supervisor of my supervisor. I didn't need a 3-month appointment. It was a great culture, and I deeply enjoyed it. Okay, so then what do you think your greatest accomplishment at Bain was? This is a question everybody. You got to be able to answer this for every job on your resume.
Yeah. My greatest accomplishment in Bain actually happened during a post-merger project. So the context was we had those two fertilizer companies in Brazil, and they had already merged, but they did it. They were struggling and fighting over what they should tackle first and where they should keep their businesses together. So one thing that I did in this context was to put as let's say a number on what's the value of they putting together all the supply chain they had. I mean, if they integrated the supply chain of their factory.
You've got a great answer here. You're getting a little in the weeds.
Okay.
My greatest accomplishment at Bain was helping a merger. Our client was a company that actually had merged. There were two fertilizer companies. Okay. And so this was like marriage counseling. It's very difficult after a merger. It's a question of, particularly if they're in the same business, it was an incredible headache about who was going to do what, who was now in charge of this, who was in charge of that. And very often mergers involve firing people. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it is correct. But actually, yeah, that's correct.
Okay, well, that's part of a good answer. So it was a post-merger, a lot of problems, a lot of headaches. So that is the topic of my greatest accomplishment, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What did you do that was so great?
Okay, what I did do, what was so great was, okay, so if you merge this, that's the dollar amount you're gonna have in the end of the next 6 months or the next year. So that helped the leadership team of both companies, the senior leadership team of both companies, to sit together and talk through how they're gonna do that. So it's pretty much saying how much money there is on the table.
What did you do?
Saying how much
state
money
of the merger when you arrived?
I mean, one company had already purchased the other. What they didn't know was, okay, what's the how much money do we have in synergy optimizations? If we move these
let me
on
just ask you, is
fast,
this an acquisition or a merger?
Acquisition, actually. So
all right. I mean, I don't care, but some people do. You got to get stuff like that straight. Okay.
Yeah.
But you got to get it straight, particularly if this is your showcase story.
Okay.
You know, they're asking you, they're giving you an open stage. You tell me about your greatest accomplishment. I'm not breaking your chops by asking you about random stuff on your resume. You can tell me whatever you want, okay? You should be able to do that with real accuracy and fluency.
All right.
I mean, I'm just giving advice out there to you and everybody else. It's a very common question. What is your greatest accomplishment and what did you do?
Okay, so
yeah, go home and sin no more on that one, my friend.
Okay.
Here's another question. Who's the best leader you ever worked for?
Best leader I worked for, I would say it's Happy's current CEO, Caroline Marine. She's great in dealing with ambiguity and in complex problems in very ambiguous scenarios in a fast-growing company. I mean, she knows how to manage people and put them in the right places where they can actually generate value for the company. So,
good. What's the underlying answer to the best leader I ever worked with is I worked with X, and X was a great leader because X could manage different people in different ways and different situations in different ways. Yeah. That's the DNA of the answer. And then you just have to be able to provide examples. Then there's sometimes a question, what's the best thing this great leader ever told you? And what was the context?
Okay, so the best thing this leader ever told me is, Carlos, it doesn't work if you just make the perfect technical solution if all other stakeholders which are going to rely on this are not aligned.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good advice. What was the situation?
The situation was I was working on creating all the KPIs for customer support in Rappi at that time, and I was directly aligning those KPIs with the customer support director. But I mean, that was a very fragmented area with teams in Brazil, Mexico, Colombia dealing with different stuff, and aligning the KPIs with the senior director would not imply that all these other
Okay,
scattered
I'm
teams were
getting it.
aligned.
You got your stories get a little granular. Okay, I
Yeah.
realize, uh, you know, you're not speaking in your first language, so I believe me, I salute you.
Okay.
And you've got a very impressive resume here. Okay, let's finish this up with a question everybody should be able to answer. Give me a roadmap of your career. Tell me what job you would want after business school, and then what job you would want in 5 years, and then where you see yourself ultimately.
Can I switch the order and work from 20
Sure.
years from now? Okay. So where I see myself, I really would like to accomplish what this guy David Velez accomplished in Latin America. He created one of the strongest and the most valuable digital bank in our ecosystem. And now he's not only doing that, but he is also sharing his expertise with several other ventures where he is investing. So he has an active role as an angel investor, helping a lot of people besides his actual business. In order to get that, I see two paths. One of them is through venture capital. So I would go into venture capital, learn a lot,
Okay,
and then start my own startup.
you're giving a good you gave a good answer to another question, which is tell me someone who's a hero for you, or tell me a role model. Okay, and then you
Okay.
mentioned this guy. Okay, if the question is give me a roadmap of your career,
Okay.
the answer about this guy has to be a little different. Like the roadmap of my career would be to become a leader like this guy David, and
Okay.
he has operational experience, and from that operational experience, he developed into a venture capitalist.
Okay.
And so, but how are you going to get there?
Okay. So my job started out of MBA. I believe I can try again what I did with my startup. I actually failed with the COVID-19 pandemic. We had to shut down our doors. I want to try something similar, but using different sort of technology. I don't want to say blockchain here, but that's what I'm thinking about. Get a successful business, ramp it up, scale it, get a lot of knowledge in how to scale a startup,
Okay,
and then become a
let me
venture
just really
capitalist.
simplify this. What job do you want after business school?
I want to be a founder again,
Right after business school?
right? Right after, right after business school, but I have a plan B. So I want
Well,
to.
tell me about plan A. How are you going to do that?
Okay, I really want to use the MBA as an incubator for one or two business ideas I have. That's what I want to try to do. And
All
if
right,
by the
let me
end of
say
the
something.
MBA,
Don't say that. You sound like you don't know how the world works, even though you might be able to do that. And they would
okay,
ask quite seriously, why don't you friggin' do that right now?
because I don't have the skill. I don't believe I a complete. I don't think I have the skills to do this again. I think there is a lot of development in order for me to be ready to do that. Some communication skills, leadership skills,
Yeah,
and I
okay,
think
blah,
the
blah,
MBA is
blah.
going to
They've
be.
got to believe that because you're paying them to learn it. So So they've got to believe it. Okay.
Okay.
Let's get an answer to this question. It's very important. What are you going to do right after business school? And what you should say is, I mean, didn't you say someplace that you're going to rejoin your company?
No, I want to start a business similar to the similar to what my company was. It actually, my company actually closed.
I thought you were going to rejoin your
No.
super app company.
And
You go, what I'd
no.
like to do right after business school. Well, what's the answer? I don't get it.
Okay.
You want to restart your startup while you're going to business school. It's going to cost you $250,000 in 2 wasted years.
I mean, first, I don't think I have the skills to do it again. I did it first and I failed. I know why I failed. And
Why?
first thing, we struggled. It took us a lot of time to develop our product. Why? Because we did not have I did not have the design skills to make that work.
Yeah, well, you're not going to learn those skills in business school, are you?
I mean, putting another point here, I'm applying to a double degree in Harvard, which is a master's in engineering focused in design.
Good. Okay, great. That's why I'm getting the dual degree. You got to get that in.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting that. And actually, the first cohort of this program graduated in 2020, 30 to 40% of it, and got into entrepreneurship straight away from the MBA.
Great.
So that's
okay. You're prepared. You're loaded. That's a great answer. Good. So I'm going to join those 30 or 40%. I'm going to start a venture. It's going to be similar to what I did. I've learned some valuable lessons. And then from there, blah, blah, blah. And a role model for me is this guy. Good.
okay.
Sometimes business schools ask this question at the end, and it's very scary. Why should we take you?
That's a hard question. You should take me because I do believe I can learn what I'm going to learn in this school. I'm going to be able to bring it and scale it outside of it and help other entrepreneurs 10, 20 years
Okay,
from
that's a
now.
good, okay, the answer to the question is you should take me because you could do me a lot of good and I believe I could do you a lot of good. What you could do for me is give me the technical skills and the opportunities to do this powerful startup. What I think, okay, what do you add to the class?
Okay, I want to enter in a specific program where a lot of people are going into entrepreneurship. So 40% of the class is going into entrepreneurship after the MBA. I have gone through that and I have seen it go wrong.
It's too granular. You go, I bring a lot to the class. For one thing, I have a Latin American perspective.
Experience. Okay.
If anything comes up about South America, I know how South America works. Another thing I can bring to the class is my startup experience. I founded a startup. I went through the process of raising money. I can add a lot of those personal experiences to cases or discussions that deal with that problem. And I've also, done work at whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the real reasons. Those are the real things you can add to the class. And then you can say that, what did you have here? Cat, and I'm also a big cat fanatic. So as you can tell, I had one walking around. I don't know. I may bring my cat to class. I'm not sure.
Okay.
You got it? You're a great guy, Mr. Applicant, but and you've got a lot of things that are very powerful. You really have to be able to wrap them like a Christmas gift and unwrap them very quickly and say, this is that and this is that. I think you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Vaya con Dios. Adios. And good dealing with you. And I think you're going to work out. Okay.
Thank you.